Hello ninth graders, this is Mrs. Cuthbertson, one of the ninth grade biology teachers, and I wanted to give you some background information for your microplastic beach activity coming up on the EE trip. So what are microplastics? Microplastics are tiny pieces of plastic measuring 5 millimeters or less, about the width of your pinky nail or smaller. Scientists have known about microplastics for decades, but they were so tiny they were really ignored, and we always studied the larger amounts of trash that's found in the ocean. But recently, scientists have begun to realize that these tiny pieces of plastic have some serious effects on the marine environment and the organisms that live in that environment. So right now, scientists are trying to understand how much microplastic is out there and where it is located. Microplastics are found in every ocean all around the world. So where do they come from? Well, they're basically the broken down pieces of the larger plastic trash that's found in the ocean. Larger pieces of plastic are broken down when the sun's ultraviolet radiation weakens the bonds between the molecules that make up the plastic. And then the waves, wind, currents, and even animals break that plastic up into tiny particles that end up floating around in the ocean. So these tiny microplastic particles float around in the ocean, and sometimes they end up falling to the bottom and getting buried in the sediment. Sometimes waves deposit them on beaches, but other times they can actually end up in the marine organisms. Microplastics cause many problems. Recent studies have shown that fish actually prefer the plastics over their natural food source, plankton. So fish will eat the plastic and it will become lodged in their body, causing blockages which can lead to starvation and death. And if the fish doesn't die, oftentimes they have delayed growth and reproductive problems. Microplastics also absorb toxins like DDT from the ocean water, and then they concentrate it within the plastic. When a fish eats that piece of plastic, the toxin then enters the fish. These concentrated toxins can cause problems all the way up the food web. So if a zooplankton ingests some microplastic with toxin concentrated in it, and then another animal eats that zooplankton, then the toxin transfers to it, and so forth, all the way up the food web and into top predators such as humans. So it can have some very detrimental health effects to us as well. Other harmful effects include acting as tiny rafts for invasive species, also modifying habitats by changing the temperature or the sand permeability, and hurting industries like fishing and tourism. Microplastics are a reality in our world because plastics are a reality in our world, and plastics can stick around for a really long time. So microplastics cause a lot of problems at all levels of the food web. Fish, harbor seals, whales, seabirds, they've all been found with microplastics inside of them. So we're going to try to do something by learning more about the amount of microplastic that's found at the beaches that we visit on our 9th grade EE trip. On our EE trip, we're actually going to sample and collect microplastic from the beach that we visit. And hopefully we can learn about the types and quantity of microplastics that are found on South Korean beaches. And we can share our information and maybe start looking towards solutions to the problem of microplastics. And I'm really excited about this trip because I feel like we can make a difference both locally and globally. I hope you guys are excited too. I'll see you out there.